to the viewing party.
Here we go.
Hey, viewing party. I'm very sad to be here. I'm not gonna lie. This is a really hard one for me personally, because I was the train conductor of the Anthony Ao like stand club train, whatever you want to call it. But we are happy to be joined with him.
Thank you. I hate to be here as well. I always enjoy talking to you and Josh, and but it would have been a lot better doing this on Sunday night.
I would agree with that statement. I was really, really ready to watch you take this thing home. Look, you have a viewer and a fan already. Let's see. Pietro, season 10 winner.
Yes, that means a lot. Thank you so much. I did a lot of homework watching your game to get ready for this, so I appreciate it.
It's I think you'll be surprised. You have more fans than you may think coming out of this.
Well, and that was the thing, and I alluded to, like, I didn't want to play like this, like hammed up, like try to get some kind of like America's favorite player type character. I really just wanted to play a strong social game and also win the game. Like there was a question on the questionnaire, and it said, would you rather have everyone love you and lose, or win the game and have people hate you? And I was like, get you a man that can do both. That was my answer. And I thought, well, I guess we'll get into it.
Well, I will say, I'm going to say you were very close.
Yeah, and I was a move away, I think, or at least a move away from
putting yourself in the position to get there. And I think, and we're gonna talk through your thoughts on that. I want to get your overall thoughts. Just like this is the first time you've ever played a game like this.
Yes.
What are some of your takeaways from this experience?
Well, I'll tell you this. Like, even with having three family members who have gone through this game, and it's of evolution, basically covering 4 seasons, I still had no idea what to expect. Like, Sarah and I would sit down at like birthdays or whatever. I was like, all right, before I even think about doing this, tell me what this is like. And she would explain it to me, and it was just so foreign to me, And then I thought to myself, like, I don't know if I'd have the time, or just like how I felt like I probably could have connected with people. Like, that wasn't a concern. I've talked to some people during this experience and just ranting and raving about how much fun it was and how like just connected you become. And they're like, yeah, I don't know if I can do that. But it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. But like, I did not expect the rush of competitiveness that I haven't felt this way since like football or wrestling in high school, even like just the intensity of like even preparing to throw a comp, like, you know what I mean? It's like, is this the right thing to do for my game? And I don't play puzzles or do these things, but I do them occasionally, maybe on my phone, or so like it like those types of things were foreign to me, but like were still fun and exciting. But one thing I will say is, and I don't know if anyone saw this, but when Justin gave me the rundown of like who knows who from outside the game, I was just like kind of blown away at how I was in this minefield of relationships that just I did not know existed. And I kind of knew when Dan was like, Crispy's really good at like minute to win it games. I was like, okay, started putting things together. People telling me, I didn't know how tight like the sequester community was. And I didn't even know, apparently that's not even an org. Like, I kept calling it an org, and it's not an org.
Yeah.
And I guess the thing that makes me so mad is like I played this game like so naive and narrowly focused that I can't do that again. You know what I mean? Like, I can't play like like whenever I do anything, if I want to do this, it's like I can't be like, I'm the new guy, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well, it was funny because when we were putting the cast together, you came highly recommended from Sarah, and I when I did your interview, I texted Josh like right afterwards, and I was like, this guy has whatever it is that like quality that's gonna like attract people to his game. It doesn't matter what other things happen, like or whoever else is cast in this game, like he's going to figure out a way to survive this, and I stand justified in feeling that way because yes, you made some errors in the first round and ended up on the block.
Yeah.
But the recovery from that and the way that people spoke about you and the way that people talked about you when you weren't in the chat
really
spoke volume to the social game that you were putting and the work that you were putting into like making those bonds and those relationships.
right.
And it was just very, very, very fun to watch you like recover from your day one blunder. And
yeah, that was almost as embarrassing as my HOH because I had a plan and a strategy. Like my goal was to have a video chat with everyone, and like unfortunately those 2 days were very, very busy for me. I spent 3 hours at a brand new council member's house. Like I didn't even need to do that, but I knew it was important for work.
Right.
It was kind of like I was doing the emotional investments in this person to make things smooth in my life here. And I was like, I probably could have done that in the game. But like, you know, it's funny you say that. I had a lot of people at the back end of the game like, we did a lot of work saving you when Lee was going to do this. And I was like, I was thinking to myself, well, I also did a lot of work making you feel like you should do that. So like, yeah, like I'll praise you if you want, but like I tried really hard to connect with you so you would do that for me if there was a problem there. So,
and you, there was like, I think there was, if I'm remembering correctly, there's one other spot in the game that you were potentially going to get put up.
Renom on a double.
It was the renom for Lee's second HOH.
Yeah.
He was very much considering putting you up. But outside of that, that was the only situation.
And that was double where he agreed to not do it.
Yeah. So, and it was, yeah. And so outside of that, you were in very little danger in this season until the end. And I'm not convinced that it's all being said that, like, sorry, let me restart that. I'm not convinced it's because they didn't view you as a threat.
Oh,
like, yeah. I think you were the threat to win this game from a social perspective. Maybe not from the game and the strategy and the that perspective, but from the social work that you put into this game, you were one of the premier threats, if not the premier threat from a social standpoint.
Well, and that was the thing too, like, I didn't want to put too much weight in like goodbye messages or explaining strategy to people because I figured people were probably going to look at me like basic for a little bit. Like Crispy kept calling me a floater. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I already have a story to tell him. I just have to wait till the final two to explain it to him, you know, and then it could be kind of like, because even in the chat, in the jury chat, Crispy's like, I didn't realize how much I didn't know about what was going on because K-Pal and I were just going back and forth about all these alliances and all the things. So I did my number one goal. It's kind of like what I do in life. And I don't do this in life to like win anything, but in life, like it's much easier in life to treat people and to be interested in people. You call it social deposits or whatever, because it just makes life easier because it's enjoyable to live life that way and build those relationships.
Right.
Like, you know, sometimes it's painful at work where I'm in very busy, but I'd have to spend 30 minutes to talk to someone that obviously is having a bad day. But like I have to take away time to tend to that person. They might be a need in their life or something. So like, it just makes my life easier. And then hopefully it makes theirs a little bit better. So I just treated that with speaking to people in the game and investing in them because they had compelling people here. Like there were people that I guess don't have really things in common with me, but I have friends that don't have things in common with me, like close friends that I talk to on a regular basis.
Right.
So even though it's a strategy, it's something that I enjoy and that fulfills me as a person to build relationships. So
well, and that showed in two ways. It showed every morning when I woke up and there was like 40 something million chats, and half of them were Anthony like talking to someone one-on-one or talking to a group of people about something that had nothing to do with the game, and then wishing every single chat that he was in good night and good morning if he woke up before me that day. Like,
is that like super corny or like?
No. It shows the social weight that you put into the game and the effort that you put in. It also showed in the ways that you were literally covered by pretty much every side in the house except for Lee, unfortunately, who kept winning HOH and trying to take you out. And
and I think, and that's the thing, I wasn't even a threat to him. I think he just wanted to put me out because I already got blood on my hands with Anthony in round one.
Right.
So let's get, which is fine. But like, I probably could have seen myself work with Lee, but like from a strategy standpoint, there were too many red flags for me to be like, you don't want to work with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when he created in game, it's like, ta-da, 6 of us in here. It's like, you didn't even talk to me about this at all. Like he didn't soften the blow there. And which was, I guess his fault there. But he played a fun game. And I think, like, I don't have anything against him. You saw the one that I made, the goodbye message. Or the vote out where I was like, Lee, your game is trash. Like I did, and I deleted it because that was really rude, and I didn't want to say that. But I know he was playing his game. Yeah. But
it's just like sometimes there's like a person that your game just doesn't align with, and that's there's nothing wrong with that. I think like I had an argument with someone like halfway through the season about you because they were like, what is Anthony doing? He's not doing anything. He's doing terrible in all these comps. And I was like, well, firstly, you're not seeing everything that Anthony's doing because you're not like you're not watching like the chats themselves. But like Anthony is literally in 18 group chats.
That's not like, that wasn't like me like scheming. Either.
No.
That was like people being like, come in here. They were pulling me in.
Yeah, like they wanted you to be a part of it because you had put such work into like socially creating those things. And then I also was like, and so not only is he the most insulated person probably in this entire cast right now, but he doesn't even have to win any of these competitions, and he's actively throwing every single competition. Yeah. It was unfortunate that when you did try to start winning the competition, some of them were a little rough.
God, that word ball, oh my God. And that's what kills me is that if I would have won that double, because I go back and look at my notes, because I make notes. You can ask Sarah. Like I would draw out like groups of people, and I'd have like move things around and say, all right, this is what the alignment looks like. And if I do this is the implications, who's mad at me. And if I would have won that double, the face of the game would probably be totally different because I would have been able to make a more ballsy move, but I lost the support that I needed.
Yeah.
Because the double happened. Blake being on the outside of whatever I was doing. Blake and we didn't have any really strategic alignment except for endgame.
Right.
But we always had this little like, hey man, you're good in my book. I'm good in your book. Like there's no big deal here. We're not after each other. But then it got to a point where I think he was even considering using me as a renom.
Oh, he was.
Yeah. but here's the other thing, and I don't want to jump too soon, but when I heard that I was considered to be a renom, and then Dan did not use his POV to save Justin or K-Pow, I said, wow, he must value me over one of them, which is interesting. And then I said, then I moved to the next day and I find out it was Gwen that was also considered renom. I'm like, oh, that must be it. It's Gwen. And like I had all these red flags, but I didn't have enough to compile it to say like their three is stronger, like, than what I assumed it was. So
Gotcha. You've got your goodbye messages, yes.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
What was the RGB? Yeah.
yeah, it's not my place to spoil that if it's not already been
No,
told.
no, it was totally in there, and I had a hint that they had something, but I can go. I guess I don't know where how you want to go and where you want to travel through this conversation, but there's a lot. There was a lot of thought that went into what I was supposed to do, and I was very clouded. But I also think that in that the juncture of the game, like I don't know, I would have had problems making the move that I should have made following round, like I did. So.
I want to talk about, sorry, the Gwen and Justin are both trying to do their power of veto competition, and I said no, I am doing something very important.
Well, thank you. I don't know, that's pretty important.
They can wait. They've had all day to do it. So I want to talk to you about Justin, who I always felt like was your number one.
Right.
And either he did a great job of fooling you into thinking that you were his number one as well, or he got caught up in too many things. What's your take on that?
So here's what I'll say about just like I did a thing with people where I would either let them drop information to me and analyze how it got to me or when it got to me, or I would give them something or say something to them and see how it was reciprocated. So for instance, I knew Chandler was telling like K-Pal and just like their like final 2 or 3 or whatever. And then like a day later, Chandler's like, you're my number one in this game. And I was like, okay, like this is very, this is hard to read. It wasn't like he was expendable because I still didn't wish for him to go when he did. But then I started realizing, okay, I need to start making commitments. And I poured into everyone, but like I knew I had to save room for cutting people because I did not want to look like I totally lied in their face the entire time.
Yeah.
Which I think Gwen's going to have a problem when it comes to dealing with me because she told me whatever I wanted to hear just to get by. And she was like, yeah, I played you. When I was like, look, man, you're my number one. Like, I think he wanted me to be his number one. And I think he even told me in the goodbye right before I left in the chat, like, you're my number one, but like, I just got caught up in this and I just couldn't do anything about it. He managed it well. He never verbalized it before I left. And that's when I was like, I think he's got his hands full and he doesn't want to commit in case he doesn't have the power to save me because something else is going on. And then by the time we got to final 6, and I just would have thought that Gwen would have been on board with like wanting to get Dan out because I think she's absolutely like bonkers to think that she can win standing next to him. And she told me she could. We forgot to record the message between Gwen, Justin, and I. But I honestly think like Justin was loyal to me, but then I think he might have given up some information that put me in trouble. He might have told Gwen that I told him he was my number one. And she told me, she's like, I knew he was your number one, and I wish I would have been your number one. And so I was gonna have a steep hill to climb, even if I could have got Dan out, or a variation of the 3. But it definitely it doesn't hurt because he didn't like lie to me. He just didn't commit to me.
Yeah. Are you burned by that?
No, because I think that he tried to insulate himself with strategy. I insulated myself with social relationships. So his strategy was like building these core groups, which is admirable. But unfortunately, as the power shifts, you just kind of have to go with what's going on in the game. And if maybe there was a chance that I could have been, got a two, if Gwen would have saved me from a split vote, maybe if she, but she wasn't going to do it. So why give a vote? To so, and I get it. I would have done the same thing.
Gotcha. All right. We have to talk about it. I know you probably don't want to, but we have to talk about it. You show up at Jeopardy prepared.
Oh my gosh.
You dominate your competition.
I was terrified when I saw the word Jeopardy, though. I forgot that Jeopardy was like game Jeopardy. I forgot that part. So I was like, trivia. Oh my God. And when I saw the HOH POV, like I lit up because I literally did all the work Sunday night and Monday.
Yeah.
And studied. Like I'm telling you, I read the chat. I was pissed off at last night's HOH because I read the chat. I would have won this one.
Yeah. You were the only person who came prepared to Jeopardy.
I was so prepared. Like let me tell you, I told you this. I was practicing slide puzzles and logic puzzles. Like I didn't know when it was gonna come, and I figured it'd at least sharpen my mind to get ready for whatever thing would throw at me. So.
Yeah. So, and you came into that competition and you said it's time. Like you literally told me it's time, and I went off camera and I stand so hard. Like I went into the chat and I was standing so hard, and you won HOH. Josh and I were literally doing backflips. We were so excited.
When Josh told me I won after my wager, I was just like blown away.
Yeah.
Like, that was crazy.
It wasn't even close.
And it was such a cool feeling too, because it's not just winning, but it's winning when you needed to win, or when I thought I needed to win. I really needed to win the double, but that was like the last chance for me to win. I felt like.
I disagree, actually. I don't think you needed to win the double. I think you needed to win Final Six. And
if I would have won the double, though, I would have changed.
That's true.
I would have changed the face of the remaining game.
That's true.
And I feel like, because if I'd have won a double, it would have been Dan, Blake, and Gwen. Would have been my noms then. Nothing against Blake, but like I felt like they had a little thing. I felt like those two were loyal to Dan. And then I felt like, in the next round, I felt like Gwen was like, whoa, we probably do need to get rid of Dan. But she didn't feel that way. But then I would have renommed maybe with a Macy, but I would have had Davey. I would have had Mark. I would have had people to save someone like a Macy and send out the two threats. Yeah. And now looking at it, I wouldn't have needed Justin's support.
It's true.
I would have had a tie, and I would have broke the tie.
Yeah, it would have been very different. But it didn't happen that way. And at the Final Six, I don't know if you know this, but you were in a lot of danger that round.
I did, but I assumed it because I always felt like I was on the bottom.
Macy's rogue vote in the double got pinned on you. They still do not believe you.
I told them, I said, because they just bragged about their perception of the game.
Yeah.
In our chat, in our face-to-face. And then they was like, we know it was you. And I was like, you obviously don't have good perception in this game. Why would I want to keep Blake? It was obviously Macy. I can't wait to laugh about this. You watch it back. Yeah. Macy already owes me a drink.
They still don't. They were talking about it today in the game. They were like, I can't believe Anthony would lie on his way out the door about that throne vote that he had. And I literally just want to like smack them across the face. I'm like, can y'all like?
That's fine.
It's fine.
That's fine. But they're in their own cult right now.
That's true. And so, but you were in a lot of danger at Final Six. So you winning there was super important for your game. And you were inches away from Dan, Gwen, Noms.
Like
why did you ultimately decide not to do that?
Few reasons. So Dan was a lock for me as a nom. At a minimum, if I wanted to hold the smiley line, which it was time to mess that up, or at least mess that up with me and take a shot. So Dan was a no-brainer because he didn't even see the block. And I was like, if I'm going to stand next to Dan for some reason at the end, he needs to see the block. Like his story can't be like, didn't even see the block, got it, just steamrolled everyone. And he is steamrolling everyone. But then the safe thing was Mark. They wanted Mark up. And I was like, well, I don't think so. So I thought about Gwen, but here's my thought about if I would have used Gwen. First, I wanted to see what Gwen had to say about if I put Dan up. Gwen was like, oh, yeah, that's cool. She's like, well, let's not get too far. Let's not get past POV. Let's think about like just what we need to do now. And then we'll figure that part out. And then I went to Justin. I was like, yo. And Justin and I talked about it at the double time. Before the double, we were like, look, let's think about the chaotic pathway of like going after Dan. And he was like, that's crazy, but if you win, that could be a thing. And and he wasn't telling me no, but he was also like, let's throttle back a little bit. But then I realized, all right, if I put Gwen up, Justin's going to be upset because that's a number for him too. And if I put Gwen up, I'm blowing up my relationships and everything. I'm going to be on on an island going through the rest of the game. And I'll have Mark, who hasn't won a comp yet. Love Mark, but he hasn't. Might have Macy, but Macy would still probably be loyal to Gwen or Dan if they survive. So now, and not to mention 42 minutes of doing that competition wrong, I could have easily done 15 minutes the right way. I know it's hard. It was way harder than doing it the right way. I know. But look, because if I would have done it right, I could have had Gwen and Dan stay on the block. But let's just say hypothetically that Dan comes down. Then what am I going to do? Am I going to put my perceived closest ally on the block next to Gwen to send her home? No, I wouldn't have done that, which would have screwed me. Gwen would have went on the block. Somebody up, Macy might have gone next to her. Macy probably would have went home, and then I would have still been in the same situation. I thought through that very long and hard.
And I know you did. And
was I late on the sending in a nom?
So late. And
sorry.
No, it's okay. Because we wanted you to have the space to think through it, because we were hoping that you would make the right decision.
My wife kept looking at me. She was looking at me like just waiting for me. She could not say anything. Look, there was at one point where she joked with me because I was so busy with the game. And she was like, just do what you think's best. Do what's best for your game. And she's just like listening to me. And I could sense that like she was trying to hold something back, but she knows she can't say anything, and it was killing her inside. And then I think her and Sarah were talking about how it was killing them, but I didn't know. I didn't know. And wait,
right?
Here's what I.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
You go ahead.
So I had to create some insurance because of my concern of them being tight. So my insurance was, Dan, you're going to go to see the block. Dan got upset. Dan goes, why don't you put up Macy if you think she's the one that threw out the weird vote? I was like, well, if I put up Macy, I feel like it's going to blow up the thing that I have with Gwen because I think they're a tight pair. And he goes, well, why don't you separate the girls if they're a tight pair? So I'm like, okay. So I go run to Gwen and I go, I just want to let you know, like, I told Dan he was going to go in the block. And he's immediately saying, I need to break up the tight pair in Gwen and Macy. And she was like, and she sold it. Or maybe there's a chance his ass would have been on the block and not won the veto. They might be saying that, but I don't know. It would be very tempting to send him home if he would have still been on the block. They said they wouldn't have, but
I'm really not sure. Yeah, I'm really not sure what would have actually happened. I think so here's for you, like, and I hope this doesn't sound condescending, but this is your first game. And this is like, these are the types of things that happen to the first time you play. You can't see the forest through the trees all the way. No. However, the red flags were there for you. The fact that they wanted so hard to protect X, Y, and Z person, right? Or that like they were so diverting against things. Those are things that you'll pick up and take if you ever do something like this again, right? And you'll learn from that experience. And it's just like it's impossible to know what all to look for your first time. And you're right. They did a very good job of selling you this narrative that they wanted you to buy. And unfortunately they got to you.
Right. And the thing is too, like I talked myself out of it because there was a part of me that said like, it's final six and I didn't spend all this time to like in my life in the one of the busiest months of my life professionally and personally to do this. So maybe I just roll the dice and say, screw it. And like, no one's going to like want to work with me moving forward because part of me wanted to make a legendary move. But like I said, if Dan comes off the block, I don't see myself putting up Justin, which nullifies all my work. And
here's the thing, Anthony. There is always a path forward. At the final six, you have to put up the two people that are going to win the game.
I know.
And that's just, again, it's a learning curve and a learning experience. And you were so close to making it. Josh and I were rooting for it the whole time. And it didn't happen, and it's okay. Like it's a live and learn type of experience. Yeah,
it is. But when that all went down, and when he came off, like I wish there was a live camera on me because I would love to see how devastated I was when I lost the POV. And then when I did it for the second time, I think my time was like 6 minutes and 30 seconds after I already did 42 minutes of this instead of this.
Yeah.
So 42 minutes. so like when I was only like 3 minutes away.
Yeah. I'm sure.
It killed me. But I mean, look, I've learned a lot of things in my life. I've learned more lessons in losing than in winning in my life. So I'll take that. I'll just take that as the glass half full.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's spend. I mean, we've been going for a half hour here, and the thing about you, Anthony, is I could probably sit here for another half hour and talk to you.
I was about to say so that's like flying by.
But I got some POVs to run, but I do want to ask you, as we're winding this game down and we're approaching the end, what are you looking for from the person who's going to win this game?
I mean, strategy is important. Relationships are important. Like I'm the type of person when I watch regular Big Brother, I don't get upset that there's a powerful group steamrolling people. I also don't get upset if somebody from the bottom starts picking people off on accident because I'm like just enjoy it. Like that's why we watch it. Like I'm in all these Reddit groups for the past 4 or 5 years and they're like, this is awful. I'm never going to watch this again. And it's like, well, you're still here and you're watching it. So like I respect like all different types of games, but I will say this, even though Justin was my number one and I feel burned, if you will, I don't feel hurt, but I obviously got burned. I'm not bitter towards him.
Sure.
But it would be really hard for me to vote for him out of being what I think as a Big Brother and general purist, to vote for him over someone like Dan, who I think has been playing an almost impeccable game. And then I think I gave him more of a resume by putting him up and then him taking himself off when he needed to. So it's not so much what I'm looking for, but in these circumstances, if anybody's standing next to Dan at the end, Dan's probably going to win. Dan could literally like skin a cat alive on the stream. And I think it's like, that's weird, but like he did really good in Big Brother season 11, you know. But I will say this, Justin, even though he was trying to cover his bases, I think he played a more strategic game as far as like how hard he played it, because I was involved in almost most of it, and I actually played part in executing some of it. And like I had to explain to him how I convinced people to do certain things. He's like, I didn't even know you were that involved in that. And that was fine. It's not a big deal. I didn't need to explain.
I think your game would have benefited from making it to the end.
I think so too.
Because then you would have been able to reveal all the things that you were actually involved with and part of, like
pull the curtain,
right? And I don't know if you get that credit now because you didn't make it to the end, but like you did, and you played a extremely well played game, and you were a huge part of the season. So
well, thank you. It doesn't feel like it.
I know. Well, and I know it doesn't. When you come to a bumpy conclusion, I know. I know it doesn't feel like it, but you have nothing to be ashamed of for this game, and you'll come around on it with some more time. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I feel a lot better. Like I will tell you, I was upset. I was more upset with myself, and then I was upset from I could have made a big shot because who really cares? And I felt like I let the perception of my understanding of this game down. Like, people were probably what the hell is he doing? When Macy went home on my HOH, I was literally just wanted to throw the computer on the floor. But then I did have a reflective moment. So yesterday I had that flag football game. My kids did really well in the game. I finished early, and I came back to all these really nice messages. And I did get a little emotional because
your video that you sent, basically saying I know I'm going home and it's been such a great. I was watching and I'm not even in the game with you, and I was like, okay.
And my PSA, before that was before the game. That was before I was actually really emotional too. Yeah, that was I was PSA, y'all, forthcoming, and I just wanted to just let everyone know it's a game.
Yeah.
Try to go out with class, even though it was still it's upsetting just because it's you try so hard.
Sure.
And people are fifth place is really good. I didn't come here for fifth place.
Yeah.
I came here for a first. I would have felt better losing to Dan at second than coming in fifth. But he's crushing it, and I feel like it's kind of almost legendary right now with how he's playing.
I'll save my comments for that until after the season.
Yeah.
No swaying any jury votes from
No, you don't. You trust me. I mean, and not only he's not even he's sitting back now, king of the castle. I'm just gonna win these comps and let y'all figure it out. I already did all the work. Thanks for loving me so much. Justin and Gwen. I'm gonna steamroll you now. Okay, see you later. See you at the end.
Well, I think let's end there because I think that about sums up or answers any questions I have about where your head is at going into this vote. Anthony, thank you so much for being part of this season. Look, this was an amazing experience. Look, I am blown away. This feels like such a premium experience too. I feel like I should pay to have to do this, even though it's a mental torture. Yeah, it's torture. But I am so impressed at how flexible, professional, fun, and just engaging this is. And just thank y'all so much. I will tell you this, I was on the fence for, I guess it's been a year now. Yeah. And I wish I would have done it sooner. But I'm glad. I guess it's timing's everything, right? So. It is. And you know what, Anthony, I know that you're about to have another baby sometime in the near future. So whenever we do get an Anthony 2.0, I, for one, am going to be very excited to see that. It'd be tough convincing my heart and my wife. I don't. My wife already looked at me like I was crazy because I told her, I said, I scratched my big brother itch, so I'm going to try out for the show now. She was like, I was like, look, the baby can watch me on TV. Yeah, no big deal. But thank you again. It was awesome. You were great. Even if you didn't like my game, I still loved working with you through this. So no, I said it already. I was the train conductor on the Anthony Stan train, and it was just so fun to watch you and to get to know you over the course of this. So thanks for everything that you gave to it. I will also say thank you to my wife who may see this maybe.
She was
we love supportive spouses.
She was super supportive, even though it was like kind of like, I understand, somewhat reluctant in the beginning. And sorry if anybody was waiting for me to shake things up. Maybe I'll consider trying again. I don't know. It was just I had a blast though. Thank you.
Just can't wait. Just be watching your DMs because I'll slide in whenever there's the right time for you to to play again.
Okay, so. I sure will.
All right, Anthony. Thank you so much, and
we'll see you
on finale night. All right.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
All right. Bye, everybody. Bye.